He cried for help, but rescuers froze.
Justice for Yuvraj! Justice for Yuvraj!
Yuvraj was murdered. Now he deserves justice. Time to hold the system accountable. India Today accesses explosive SIT probe details. Who failed Yuvraj and who will pay?
Hello and welcome. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor. This is 5 Live. We keep our focus on what happened with the young techie in Noida. It's been nearly a week that the 27-year-old Yuvraj and in his car plunged into an open water-filled pit in Sector 115 Noida. For nearly 2 hours, the techie cried for help, but atop his vehicle, switched on his mobile phone, flashed his light. That's the last visual that we have of him, desperately hoping that somebody will just go through, just follow that marker barely few meters and go and rescue him. Nothing happened. But within minutes of his father calling cops, of his fire officials as well, everybody arrived. Nobody could help at all. Now that tragic ordeal shook the conscience of the nation, sparked calls for justice and debate as well. Heads began rolling hours after Yuvraj was effectively, what we called here on the program, murdered by the system. The CEO of Noida Authority was removed, the junior engineer was sacked, the builder was arrested and SIT was formed. It was long overdue. Action against criminality or also criminally negligent system was to be done, but is this enough? Clearly not. The SIT now has to submit its report in 5 days. Today is day 4. Tomorrow that report will be submitted to the government and then we'll see how exactly are they looking at this particular incident, which is failure at different steps, right from how the road was turned to how the response that came in as well. But here at India Today, we have accessed exclusive inside details of that investigation. How exactly is the UP SIT thinking on this matter? So, and sources are telling us at this point that 5 departments of Noida Authority are under the scanner. The SIT is questioning officials from SDRF, from Fire Department, from police personnel who were all present at the scene. India Today has also accessed that SIT's line of questioning. Sources say authorities will be asked to explain the level of coordination between different agencies and officials at the site of the tragedy. Further, we are told the probe team will also question, or perhaps has already, about the response time, what rescue measures were taken and what precautions were taken at the site following a similar incident involving a truck just 15 days ago. So all those are the details that we are gathering at the moment. Arvind Ojha, my colleague, has got us all those details, has been tracking all the aspects of that story, especially when it comes to how Noida police is thinking, how SIT is going about their investigation. Arvind, हमें थोड़ा बताएं कि इसके बारे में आपने कहा 5 एजेंसीज हैं जिनके रोल को देखा जा रहा है इस SIT के द्वारा. वो 5 कौन-कौन हैं, सबसे पहले हमें ये बता दीजिए.
देखिए, सबसे पहले बताऊं, अभी भी इस वक्त जब हम आप बातचीत कर रहे हैं, अभी भी SIT की टीम नोएडा अथॉरिटी के अंदर बैठी हुई है. जो SIT हेड है वो बैठे हुए हैं और सभी से क्वेश्चनिंग जारी है. उसमें नोएडा अथॉरिटी, उसमें फायर डिपार्टमेंट की टीम, उसमें पुलिस, उसमें SDRF की टीम, उसमें NDRF की टीम. इन सभी लोगों के जो टॉप अधिकारी हैं उनके स्टेटमेंट हुए, इंक्लूडिंग जो नोएडा पुलिस कमिश्नर. अब से कुछ देर के लिए नोएडा की जो DM जिनके अंडर डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट आता है वो आई थी नोएडा अथॉरिटी SIT के सामने और कुछ देर बाद वो वापस चली गई. जो नोएडा अथॉरिटी है वो
उनको समन करा गया था?
नहीं, उनको पूछताछ के लिए बुलाया गया था. SIT की टीम बुलाती है सभी को पूछताछ करने के लिए. आप अपना पक्ष रखें, आप अपना पक्ष रखें, आप अपना पक्ष रखें. तो ये तमाम चीजें चल रही हैं. इन सब के बीच जो पुलिस है वो जो एक एब्सकॉन्डिंग बिल्डर है उसके खिलाफ एनबीडब्ल्यू उसने कोर्ट से इशू कराया है, निर्मल वो एब्सकॉन्डिंग चल रहा है। एसआईटी की बात करें तो कल जो ये पूरा इन्वेस्टिगेशन है एसआईटी का, वो उसकी जो पूरी रिपोर्ट है वो उत्तर प्रदेश के चीफ मिनिस्टर योगी आदित्यनाथ के सामने रखी जाएगी। लेकिन लोगों के बीच यही चर्चा है कि मसलन ये मान लीजिए सोनल, आप भी जानते होंगे कि किसी भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, किसी भी जिले में अगर कोई अच्छा काम होता है तो उसकी वाहवाही उस जिले का जो कप्तान होता है, जो कमांडर होता है, चाहे पुलिस की बात कर लीजिए तो लक्ष्मी सिंह उसकी वो गुड वर्क अपना लेंगी। तो जो बैड वर्क हुआ, क्या टॉप कमांडर उसकी बैड वर्क की जिम्मेदारी लेगा? मसलन क्या लक्ष्मी सिंह के खिलाफ एक्शन होगा, क्या डीएम के खिलाफ एक्शन होगा, क्या फायर चीफ के खिलाफ एक्शन होगा? ये सबसे बड़ा सवाल है। या फिर छोटे मोटे जो ऑफिसर हैं उन पर ही एक्शन लेकर, जैसा अक्सर होता है, बात खत्म की जाएगी। तो मेन फोकस सभी का, खासतौर से युवराज के फादर का और बाकी जो लोग भी इस केस को वॉच कर रहे हैं, जो चाहते हैं युवराज के लिए इंसाफ हो, वो यही चाह रहे हैं। अदरवाइज ये एसआईटी रिपोर्ट भी खाना पूर्ति से कम नहीं होगी। 3-4 दिन से हम देख रहे हैं कि जो एसआईटी की टीम है वो स्पॉट पर जा रही है, वो तमाम जगहों पर जा रही है। और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज ये है कि डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट की जिम्मेदारी होती वो डीएम के अंतर्गत होती है। तो क्या मेधारूपम पर कोई एक्शन होगा? ये बड़ा सवाल है। एसआईटी ने डीएम से भी जवाब मांगा, नोएडा सीपी से भी जवाब मांगा है, और जो रिपोर्ट है वो कल सबमिट की जाएगी यूपी सीएम के सामने।
बट अरविंद, इसमें सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कि इस एसआईटी को ओवरलुक कर कौन रहे हैं, क्योंकि एक तरह से ये डिपार्टमेंट के ही लोग हैं जो दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट को इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहे हैं। एट द एंड ऑफ द डे अगर कुछ इसमें वो निकल कर आते हैं, निष्कर्ष निकालते हैं कि भाई इसमें इन लोगों की जिम्मेदारी थी, वो यूपी पुलिस का ही नाम पर लांछन लगेगा। तो कौन कौन है पार्ट ऑफ एसआईटी? क्या इस पर भरोसा किया जा सकता है?
नहीं, बिल्कुल देखिए, जिस तरह से ये पूरा जब इंसिडेंट हुआ था और इंडिया टुडे ने अब सबसे पहले इस स्टोरी को उठाया और हमने जो खुलासा किया था नोएडा अथॉरिटी पर, तो एक्शन हुआ था। जो यूपी के सीएम है उन्होंने नोएडा के सीईओ को रिमूव किया, जो एक बड़ा एक्शन है कि उसकी कोई उम्मीद किसी ने की नहीं होगी। अब बात डीएम की आ रही है कि डीएम जो मेधा रूपम है, क्या उन पर एक्शन होगा या नहीं होगा? क्या जो नोएडा की पुलिस कमिश्नर हैं उन पर एक्शन होगा कि नहीं होगा? जो एसआईटी को लीड कर रहे हैं वो एडीजी मेरठ, जो जोन के एडीजी हैं, वो इसको हेड कर रहे हैं। और बहुत ईमानदार माने जाते हैं वो। इसी वजह से वो बार बार कई बार स्पॉट पर गए भी हैं। कल भी वो नोएडा अथॉरिटी गए थे, नोएडा अथॉरिटी के ऑफिसर से बात की कि भाई जब 31 दिसंबर को एक ट्रक वहां एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है, उसके बाद आपने क्या एक्शन लिया? 5 साल आपको पानी निकालने में लग गए। बिल्डर लिख कर देता है नोएडा अथॉरिटी को और प्रशासन को कि वहां पानी जमा है, कोई दुर्घटना हो सकती है। तो 5 साल में क्या पानी ही नहीं निकला? वो यमुना का पानी नहीं है, यमुना नदी नहीं है, कोई समुंदर नहीं है, वो एक प्लॉट है जिसमें बारिश का पानी जमा है। तो 5 साल अगर पानी नहीं निकाल पाई वो नोएडा अथॉरिटी, वो जिसका जो बजट है वो 14,000 करोड़ से ज्यादा का है। डीएम, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट की जिम्मेदारी वो डीएम की होती है। अगर युवराज वहां पर डूब गया, एक्सीडेंट हो गया, तो डीएम को खुद मौके पर होना चाहिए था। तो ये सारी इन्वेस्टिगेशन एसआईटी की टीम कर रही है, सभी का स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड कर किया गया है और कल जो रिपोर्ट है वो सीएम को सौंपी जाएगी।
चलिए होप करते हैं कि एक नॉन बायस्ड, अनबायस्ड एक पूरी रिपोर्ट बनेगी और इससे कुछ कंक्लूजन्स निकल कर आएंगे। थैंक यू अरविंद हमें सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन देने का। पीयूष मिश्रा इज ऑल्सो विद अस, माय कॉलीग पीयूष इज जॉइंड बाय locals in the area as well. Piyush, the question is very simple. The question is not about just this incident, which hopefully will be addressed by the SIT, but how to avoid further instances like these. We've done our own reality check to understand that death traps like these are at every nook and corner in Noida. You travel anywhere, even 5 minutes away from where the film city is, you'll find such corners, right? So what are they doing at a systemic level to fix this issue? Absolutely. And what is the demand of the locals there?
Well, that's right, Sonal, and that's the point which the locals are also raising. They are very anguished, and we were also hearing to our colleague Arvind Ojha, who was pointing that this pit had rainwater, but it's not rainwater. The locals here, those are with us, they are telling us that it's a sewage water, and this is more shocking that untreated sewage water is being discharged here in this pit. And I would directly like to take a comment from the locals here, and they are very angry, they are very anguished with the fact that despite authorities knowing that this entire area is not covered, they did not take any action, ma'am. You were telling us that this entire pit is sewage water. Absolutely. It's more shocking, and you were also telling me that you have been reaching out to various authorities. What has been their response?
Their response is nothing. They have a usual answer. Yeah, we will look into it. Yes, we are watching it. We are seeing it. They are just waiting and watching for such incident to happen. There is no value for a human life, in front of them, and that is the reason, this thing had happened. I have shown you, the letters, the correspondence, the requests that we have raised, the social media channels that we used, different handles, to convey our messages that there should be a proper lighting out here, there should be blinkers out here, especially if you come during the month of December and January, when there is no visibility, zero visibility, You can just imagine, if you are standing in front of me, I won't be able to see you that, okay, someone is standing in front of me. Imagine what would have happened, to that poor guy, that night. It is really, really shameful, I would say. They are saying Noida Sector 150 is the posh sector. I don't know what is the definition of posh here, We have spent a lot of money out here in buying our property or buying our flats. The authority is fooling us. The developers are fooling us. They are big-time chores, I would say. That is the right word to use for them.
That shows the kind of anger is there among the residents. I mean, you also live in Sector 150.
Yes, yeah.
You have also been reaching out to authorities. Yeah. Do you think that Yuvraj could have been saved?
Yes, he could have been saved. Why not? See, you could have seen if he had fallen the ditch, and he was so courageous. He came out of the car and he was at the rooftop. He did his best. He used his mind. He used his education. He used everything, and he was on top of the car. And with his mobile, he was guiding people, asking people, begging them to help me, and save me. But nothing could be done because of this, our present government running in the now, and because of this Noida Authority, disaster management people who could not do anything. They could have done anything. They could have used their common brain. If they had no boat, they could have made human chain. They could have used ropes, but they could have saved the life. But यहाँ पे क्या है? You are getting your money, you are getting job, you are getting tankha, you are getting paid, so you don't want to save a poor man's child. If it would have been a minister's child, it would have been a politician's child, then you would have seen even helicopter would have come within no time. Because this is a poor man's child, common man's child, who is a taxpayer, who is paying all the dues on time, who has been squeezed morally, socially, economically. Then he had to die.
So you were getting emotional, ma'am.
He had to die. He was made to sacrifice. He has sacrificed his life for us. Maybe कुछ जाग जाएंगे, हम जैसे लोग बच जाएंगे. That's the thing.
You're also as young.
The reality really cutting across over there, Piyush. Thanks so much for bringing us that entire reality over there. And I think what that lady said actually echoes everybody's sentiment over there. But let's move on from the story for now. We'll keep a hawk's eye on that, don't worry, in the days to come as well. Moving on to the other big story that we've been tracking here, which is pollution. On this show, we have flagged the pollution crisis again and again. The air emergency choking North India and several other parts of the country isn't just a health hazard anymore, it's a national liability. Just yesterday, we showed you how global voices warned that pollution is hurting India more than tariffs, bleeding the economy and damaging credibility, ease of doing business, all of that. Tonight, we expose another cost. Toxic air is threatening India's ambition to become a global sporting powerhouse. How? Because think about that. India wants the 2036 Olympics, the biggest sporting event on earth, to happen here. Ahmedabad is the front runner. The bid gained momentum after India secured the 2030 Commonwealth Games as well. But amongst all the challenges staring this dream in the face, pollution tops the chart. Here's the proof. At the India Open in Delhi, world number 3, Anders Anderson refused to play. Reason? Pollution. Singapore's Law Keen also competed but publicly slammed Delhi's air quality. Two of the world's best badminton players, both sounding the same alarm. The rot isn't limited to international sport. In 2025, India's under-23 knockout matches were shifted from Delhi to Mumbai. Again, severe air pollution. During the 2023 ODI World Cup, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh skipped practice sessions. Pollution again. And the most damning image came in 2017. Sri Lankan cricketers in Delhi struggling to breathe, players vomiting, masks on the field, scenes that should never, never define a sporting nation. So today, as India dreams of hosting the Olympics, one question must be asked. Can a country that can't guarantee clean air really host the world's biggest sporting event? Are we ready? What about our own athletes? How are they even practicing in this air? Nikhil Las, my colleague, joins us for more on this. Nikhil, we've been sort of debating this for a while, that how does India even put its bid forward, what exactly will happen. We remember what happened in the last Commonwealth. That time the challenge was a little different. This time, all eyes on not just conditions inside the stadium, but the air outside.
Well, that's right, Sonal. I don't know where to start because this is a damning indictment of the state of affairs here in India, and it hurts India on multiple fronts. You talk about organizing the Olympic Games. The latest we are hearing is that not just those athletes that you've just mentioned in your report, but a host of other athletes have written to the Athletics Commission, that is part of the International Olympic Committee, complaining about playing high-level or top-level international tournaments in India because of air pollution. I know, people will talk about that maybe this was restricted to Delhi, but that's not quite the case. We've seen it in other venues as well. Quite recently, I've given that example earlier as well, where we saw Hardik Pandya wear a mask ahead of a game. You had other teams complaining. So the issue just doesn't pertain to Delhi per se. It's the entire northern belt. And I think, for a country that's so sensitive about its own image, if you have a bunch of top-level athletes writing to the International Olympic Committee that India is not suitable to be playing because of pollution, I think this is something that the government needs to wake up to. But unfortunately, you showed those images and that are also fresh in my mind. Way back in 2017, you had a scenario where the Sri Lankan players were vomiting, complaining of their eyes itching, and you had to cancel a game in the national capital. I would have assumed that 9 years would have been enough time to try and fix that situation. But unfortunately, nothing really has happened on that front. I take you, China was on a similar level. Remember, China is a sporting powerhouse, not only in terms of the medals that they win, but also in terms of hosting top-level international events. As I said, this is going to hurt India on two counts. One, not getting top-level events, and two, not being able to produce top-level athletes. How do you expect a kid to be playing, who's staying in north of India, to be playing a sport? Because you need to get, 10,000 hours minimum for a kid to go on to become a professional sports person. 6 months of a year, you cannot be playing sport in India. Why? 4 months you've got pollution, then 2-3 months of extreme heat conditions where you cannot be practicing. So how do you produce the next level athlete? I must tell you that the North Belt usually is the strongest when it comes to producing in terms of per capita producing your top athletes. But I tell you what, they are produced despite the system. Next time Indian athlete misses out on a medal, blame it on pollution, not on anything else. I tell you why? Because it affects your lung capacity. It affects those marginal differences that you see between winning a medal and losing out. Because even athletes that made it to the top level have to practice in these conditions. Year on year, their lung capacity is being harmed. Year on year, that affects their performance. And that is why you will fall short of winning medals. So as I said, not being able to organize an event is the big problem. Not being able to produce the next level of athletes is problem number 2. And thirdly, even the athletes that you've produced participating at the top level will not be able to give their best and will always start at a disadvantage compared to everyone else. This is a national emergency that needs to be addressed.
Well, Nicholas said it, all of it, right? If you still think that pollution is not an issue, well, first, I don't know what to do about you, but it's going to cost us in our annual GDP. It's going to cost us business from abroad. It's going to impact economy and ease of doing business. It's also going to cost us our sporting dreams. Well, that should be enough wake-up call for the government. We'll see how that goes for the moment. Thanks, Nikhil, for joining. Now, winter may have arrived late, but it is now firmly gripped North India. In the national capital and its adjoining regions, a spell of rain has finally brought the much-needed relief and cheer from the toxic air. The AQI in Delhi-NCR has improved. Grab 3 hata diya gaya hai from severe to very poor category, and there's hope of further improvement as well, with more showers forecasted tomorrow over this long weekend, which is approaching as well. Now, away from the capital, large parts of North India are witnessing intense winter conditions. Just look at those gorgeous shots. From Jammu and Kashmir to Himachal Pradesh to Uttarakhand, heavy snowfall has transformed hill towns into postcard perfect landscapes, drawing tourists and setting the stage for a very busy long weekend. So we thought, if you like me are working, cannot go, let's give you a little glimpse of what those places look like. Joining me is my colleague Ashraf Vani. He joins us from Jammu and Kashmir. All right, before we actually go to my colleagues, let's quickly give you a roundup of what these places are looking like, then we'll dip in.
Winter tightened its grip across North India once again, as fresh snowfall blanketed large parts of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. In Kashmir, snowfall quickly resulted in flight delays and road closures. Operations at the Srinagar airport were hit hard as snowfall forced the cancellation of at least 26 flights. Airport authorities said snow clearance operations were underway on the runway, but airlines cautioned passengers to brace for delays and extended wait times as conditions continued to pose challenges. The mercury dipped and roads turned treacherous across the valley. Higher reaches bore the brunt of the snowfall, prompting the closure of several key mountain roads. Authorities have ordered the closure of schools in several areas of Kashmir as a precautionary measure, citing safety concerns amid freezing temperatures and slippery roads.
कश्मीर के बालाई इलाकों के साथ-साथ मैदानी इलाकों में भारी हिमपात ने अपनी लपेट में पूरी वादी को ले चुका है। बड़गाम हो या कोई भी जिला हो, तो हर तरफ बर्फ ही बर्फ दिखाई दे रहा है। कल रात जब लोग सोए तो सुबह हैरान हुए जब पूरी वादी को सफेद चादर से लिपटा हुआ देखा।
The winter spell, however, was not without its scenic moments. Tourist hotspot Gulmarg recorded 20 and 24 inches of fresh snow, transforming the meadow resort into a pristine white expanse. Meanwhile, Shimla woke up to its first snowfall of the season. The fresh snowfall across Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh is part of a broader winter system affecting large swaths of North India.
शिमला अपने जिस मौसम, अपने जिस प्राकृतिक सौंदर्य के लिए मशहूर है, आज वो मौसम बनता है और मौसम विभाग की तरफ से पहले ही जिस तरह से भविष्यवाणी की गई थी कि हिमाचल प्रदेश के लगभग जो मध्यवर्ती और ऊंचाई वाले इलाकों में है, यहाँ पर बर्फबारी हो सकती है, तो आज सुबह ही जिस तरह से बर्फबारी जो है वो मध्यवर्ती और ऊंचाई वाले इलाकों में देखने के लिए मिल रही है।
As cold intensifies, officials in Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal are racing against time, clearing roads and restoring connectivity. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's cut across to my colleague Ashraf Vani joining us from Srinagar. Ashraf, here we are again. Long weekend is coming. People have made up their plans. And now we are wondering if this is the right time to go. The joke in the newsroom, however, is that today is supposed to be Basant Panchami. This is the day where forward temperatures actually become warmer. But this time the opposite has happened. It's become cooler now. But for a local like you, are you having fun or are you cribbing about too much snow?
Actually, Sonal, the global warming impact is now visible across the globe, particularly here in the Himalayan states, including the Jammu and Kashmir. The 40 days spell of the Chilekalan is considered as the coldest season in the Kashmir, which begins on 21st of December and then concludes on 31st of January. But this year we have seen most of this cold spell was dry across the Kashmir Valley. We had reports from different forest areas. There was abrupt forest fires witnessed in different localities and forest areas of Kashmir. But abruptly, the weather scenario changed, which was predicted by the Met Department since Thursday evening, and it is heaviest snowfall of the season so far in the Kashmir. We have reports from the Yusmarg, which is in the Badgam district, more than 4 feet snow has got accumulated there. Then also in the Kulgam district, which is in the South Kashmir, Shopian district, the Mughal road which connects the Kashmir Valley with the Poonch is closed for the vehicular traffic due to heavy snowfall, at least 4 feet at the Pir Ki Gali, which is one of the passes. Same is the scenario with the Kargil road that has been also closed due to heavy snowfall in Zojila as well as in the Sonmarg. And also, as you mentioned in the report, in the Gulmarg that has also recorded about 2 feet of snow. And it is currently snowing not only in the Srinagar but also in the other parts of the Kashmir Valley. And Met Department has said that this heavy snowfall will bring another spell of cold wave, not only here in the Kashmir, but also its impact will be in the northern parts, including in the Delhi. So the cold is still behind, and the coming days will be colder, and even the night is too much cool. Here in the Srinagar, the temperature is predicted for today's night is -5, which may decline to -7 in coming 2 days.
All right, already feeling it here in the national capital and not complaining about it at all. Let me also cut across to my colleague Ankit Sharma. Ankit, long weekend आ गया है, 26th Republic Day पर छुट्टी है सबकी, तो अगर कोई ट्रैवल कर रहा है हिल्स की तरफ, तो रोड्स की क्या हालत है, कौन कौन से हाईवे बंद हैं, कौन कौन से चल रहे हैं, उसके बारे में थोड़ी जानकारी दे दीजिए.
Well, absolutely. You can see behind me is the national highway connecting to Shimla, and you can see the chaos. People are thronging to Uttarakhand and also traveling to Himachal from here in large number. And after today's sudden weather turn, it has completely set to rejoice among the people, and people are overjoyed because the weather has turned late, but it has come better, and the temperatures have also plummeted, and it has caused some joy to the farmers and as well as tourists. People are flocking to higher hill station in large number, talking about the scenic destinations like Harshil, Chopta, and talking about Masuri. Higher areas of Nainital have completely blanketed in white, and you can see the
All right, so that was my colleague Ankit over there saying that there seems to be an entire widespread all across. The weather is turned, this time not at the right time perhaps, but just in time for people to enjoy in case they had plans for the long weekend. Maninder Arora, my colleague, is also with us live from Manali. मनमिंदर हमें बताइए वहाँ के अभी ओ वाओ अभी भी स्नो हो रही है दैट लुक्स लवली बिहाइंड यू हमें थोड़ा बताएं कब से स्नो चल रही है वहाँ पर एंड इम्पोर्टेंटली हाईवेज की क्या सिचुएशन है क्या लोग अभी भी पहुँच सकते हैं
जी बिल्कुल आज सुबह से जैसे ही जो बर्फबारी जो मनाली और इसके आसपास के इलाकों में हुई है उसके बाद ये लगातार अब पूरा दिन आज जो बर्फबारी का जो दौर है वो जारी रहा और अभी भी आप मेरे पीछे देख सकते हैं मैं तस्वीरों में दिखाना चाहूंगा ये मनाली का मॉल रोड है यहाँ पे जो काफी जो पर्यटक हैं देखिए बर्फबारी का मजा लेने के लिए यहाँ पे उमड़े हुए हैं हालांकि क्योंकि रोड बंद है मनाली अटल टनल रोड की बात करूं तो वो फिलहाल अभी नॉर्मल व्हीकल्स के लिए बंद किया गया है लेकिन वहाँ पे 4x4 व्हीकल्स जो सिर्फ है वो उनको अलाउ किया गया है तो लगातार जो बर्फबारी है इस पूरे इलाके में हो रही है अगर मनाली की बात करूं तो करीब 1.5 फीट के आसपास जो है वो बर्फ की परत एक मोटी अब जम चुकी है जबकि सोलंग नाला जो पर्यटन स्थल है वहाँ पे 2.5 से 3 फीट के आसपास जो बर्फबारी है अभी तक हो चुकी है। वहीं रोहतांग पास की बात करूं तो 4.5 फीट के आसपास वहाँ पे बर्फबारी हो चुकी। तो ऐसे में अंदाजा लगाया जा सकता है कि किस तरह से ये जो बर्फबारी थी, हालांकि प्रिडिक्शन तो थी मौसम विभाग की कि आज पूरे इलाके में बर्फबारी होगी, लेकिन इतनी ज्यादा बर्फबारी होगी ये किसी ने सोचा नहीं था। लेकिन अभी भी आप देख सकते हैं कि बर्फबारी का दौर वो लगातार जारी है। वहीं लाहौल स्पीति जिला की बात करूं तो वहां पर भी अच्छी खासी जो बर्फबारी इस समय देखने को मिल रही है। केलोंग जो लाहौल स्पीति का डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर है वहां पे करीब 2.5 फीट के आसपास जो बर्फबारी हो चुकी है। तो ऐसे में अब कहीं ना कहीं स्थानीय लोगों की भी दिक्कतें अब बढ़नी शुरू हो गई हैं, क्योंकि रोड कनेक्टिविटी पूरी तरह से बंद हो गई है। बिजली सप्लाई रिस्टोर होने में टाइम लग रहा है, क्योंकि बीच बीच में पावर कट्स लग रहे हैं। तो ऐसे में आज हाँ,
All right, understandably losing signal with our colleagues over there because of the constant snowfall. So good news if you're already there, not so good news if you're planning to go there, because roads are a bit of a trouble there. So please keep a check on that before you make your plans. But let's leave you with these gorgeous, gorgeous pictures coming to us from the north of the country, all those hills. And a very happy long weekend to all of you. We'll see you again on the other side. Thanks so much.